Well. Welcome to the new studio. It's quite the pleasure to have you. Now, before we begin, you'll notice I have my glasses on, so I'm obviously tired. It is Easter morning, so to those who practice, good morning, happy Easter to you. Have fun, be safe, please. That's gonna be a great time for everybody. If you're new here, my name's Evan, also known as the John Stockton, because I'm out here with all these assists. Ooh, what's this? Ooh, is this gonna be a nice healthcare stock? Pass. Pump fake. And one. No. And also I'm known as, on these here part of town, known as the Chef Boyardee Swing. Right? Because I'm out here with these delicious wings. No, for real though. I'm trying to find a new name for the show. The reason is I'm going to have Friday and Saturday shows too now. And I want to have the Watchlist show have its own name. If you have any kind of ideas, let me know. I have quite a few good ones I'm mulling over. I'm leaving one more day, and then we're going to start the new series tomorrow, officially, when I first go live for the Patreon folks and such. So, if you're new here, welcome, new kid. What we're going to talk about is all the technical analysis you need to know about, all the supports, resistances, trend lines, patterns, all the EMA lines, volume profile will be covered, RSI, stochastic momentum indicator, and vortex, and then some traditional volume. So those 10 things we're going to talk about on every single ticker. I'm going to show you some great stuff to know. How do the folks on TikTok, how do the folks on Twitter and Facebook find those stocks? Now, if you go on TikTok, which I go on for the memes and everyone on there's like, ooh, NIO, PLTR every other day, they're not valid. I'm sorry, they're stupid. But that's all right. That's neither here nor there. And if you're an intermediate trader, I need to show you how to diversify. I need to show you some great tickers. I need to show you the next sectors that are going to be hot. All those kinds of great things. Now, with me being home, you may see some cats come in and say hello occasionally. That's going to be okay. And there's actually one at my feet right now looking up at me. We'll see if he jumps up here. That'd be pretty fun. But again, shout out to the Patreon for the new studio. I would never have been able to afford it without them. And again, something too crazy. I got some plushies and a new whiskey decanter and some statues and stuff. So nothing too crazy yet. But the lights and stuff, that's all from them. So again, appreciate you guys very much. With that being said, I want to get these episodes down to 15 to 20 minutes. And we'll get into it. So that being said, let's check this stuff out. So you're probably wondering, why? Why is there no charting done, Evan? I'm scared. Well, just so you know, I'm scared too. No, we're going to go over, I think a good rule of habit is we're going to do the first one together from now on. That way you can see what every line means and that kind of stuff. As always, our trusty poop list is right here for you. And so we can see that we have about, 7 or 8 good stocks today. It's going to be a really good time. That's what I get for filming at home, huh? So let's go over this. The first one's ACHC. So what we're going to do is put our supports and resistances. So our first support that's close is going to be right about here. Our first resistance probably right about here. Now what I like to do is make my resistances orange. And again, I'm going to go pretty quick through this because if you've been around for a while, you know what I'm doing. That's there. Our trend line is obvious. Come all the way over and come up. We can see that's tapping quite a lot here. I don't love that. What I do love is right here. Look at that. Bueno, me likey. Extend right. I make mine into channels to capture more of a move. I'll put it right there because that's the size of these two candles. Hits that, hits that, hits that. Beautiful. I make my trend lines gold. So that's why those are gold, just so you guys know. We could also see that we need volume profile, so studies. You can go and type in volume profile. I have it saved as a set. Our 70% line, so where most of the action happens, where most of the volume happens, will be within these brackets. So we can see that we're clearly above that, which means we're pushing higher prices, higher volume. And our POC, which is a very strong support and resistance, but it's also known as a very gravitational force, but it's like a planet. The closer you get, the stronger it is. The farther away you get, the weaker it is. And we can see that we are pretty far away from it, so I'm not overly concerned about that. So let's turn that study off. Bada boom, bada bing. There you go. Supports, resistances, those kinds of things. One thing I will mention is that we do have a clear resistance trend line. And so we're going to add here, and this is a cool tip, you can then take it, trace the exact same line you just had, just do activate trend line, not channel, and I get the same exact shape. And we can come up and we can see that clearly this is a channel up that's forming very, very well right here. And just like the resistance trend line, or the resistance support, resistance, we want to call it, we're going to make this orange as well, but dotted. So it's harder to see, but it's also there for us. Lastly, what I like to do is always put the ticker name, just so when I'm doing this for people and printing it off or whatever, or showing it. ACHC, we'll make it right there. Activate and put it here. Boom. So that's how my charting works. So looking at this again without having charted again, we can see clearly a support area. We can see a clear trend line. So what's the takeaway here? The first thing is that we're not where I buy it yet. I would definitely buy it closer to 55.60, 55.50. I definitely want to see it come down just a little bit farther. Maybe another 2%. Yeah, another 1 or 2% will be perfect. But from there, if we can come back up and break this trend line or this resistance line, 9 or 10 easy percent, it could be really, really good. And again, this is a healthcare stock. If you want to know more about healthcare stocks, make sure to watch the video I talked about sector rotation, because that's going to really show you all the ins and outs of why I'm focusing healthcare, real estate, financials, utilities, and consumer defensive right now. Very easy to read trend line, very easy to read support. I'd wait a little bit longer. Now if it does start to curl here and show life, because you see the reversals are very similar. They're very bullish, like very cup and handle. You know, it does come down here. This is a cup right here. This does handle down, or it does make a new cup here and handle down and show some life. I would go long, but ACHC, I like it a lot. Let's check the indicators. So what's super cool about my channel, besides me, is that I actually do not look at the indicators at all while I'm going over these tickers. What I'm doing actually is going strictly off of price action. Now again, price action is just the candles and then of course traditional volume if you wanted to. But I have not looked at EMA lines, I have not looked at RSI, stochastic, or vortex. So everything that we're talking about right now is going to be first time seeing it, so that way you can see what I can see. And without my glasses, I can't see shit. So again, good thing we have those today, don't we? So off the bat, we can see it's a 50 EMA line bounce. Now, did it break below it? Yeah, sure it does, and it's getting there. So it breaks below it, what are we going to do? Buy off of a good value, or wait for it to get back over 50 and buy off of the cross. Again, you wait for a crossover, or you wait for a good value, especially with what I'm doing, right? We look for convergence, we have that. So let's wait for it to get back above the 50, or get a better value. So we're gonna wait for that. If it gets down to 200, I'd be a little bit concerned, but again, I wouldn't get overly concerned. I would just wait for it to tap that and show some life. RSI, it's fair, but put your cursor there. We can see that it does reverse here. That's a good sign. It could be a little bit lower, but again, I think off the 50, it's uptrending. Getting a low RSI with uptrending doesn't make much sense. The stochastic could be a bit lower, so again, it may come down a little bit farther. And vortex just went green, so you should have a good run up here. So they're a little bit convoluted. I would never take one indicator over price action, and right now, price action looks really good. I would definitely wait for an EMA crossover or a better value. So right here, we're kind of in no man's land as we speak. And when I say no man's land, I mean you need a clear crossover or you need a clear value. And right now, we're about 0.5% from being confirmed and about 2% from being in a good value. So I'm going to wait a day or two, but ACHC moving forward, it's a great pickup. So next is APLE, very close to Apple. Don't get confused now. Apple hospitality. I can read. So this is a great trend line. It's a very similar setup to ACHC, right? And right now with the market trending up, we're going to try and find very similar setups in different sectors and kind of diversify like that. Now we can see it's a very nice support area. Now again, you must draw your own. This is not a show to copy. This is not one you should be buying all these. This is a watch list show. You need to do this yourself. I would definitely take your support area. You can put it down here. Maybe 1430, 1425 is where it's at for you. Maybe yours is right here at 1470 and it's right there. So mine, I put it in the middle. Okay, 1460 looks good to me. Trend line's very obvious here. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Again, if a trend line only hits twice, it's not a trend line. You can anticipate a third move, but it must hit 3 times. Any one of you idiots and any one of me idiots can draw a line to another line for 2 points. It must be 3 to be a trend line in my book. We can see the resistance. Trend line also hits 3 times and it's definitely wedging. And so you should make sure that your price target is based off of this resistance line and also this resistance trend line, but also more importantly the EMA lines, which we'll check out in a second. You could definitely get, 3 or 4 easy percent here, risking maybe 1 or 2, which is a good risk versus reward. I think a full move, this keeps going up, could easily net you 5, 10, 15, 20% on a long-term hold, probably closer to 10. This is a dividend stock, so you may see a dip, which it just happened because dividends pay out directly from the company. But APLE, a great setup, great technical setup. If it can break above this volume line and keep pushing, great sign. Let's check the indicators. So very similarly, it is definitely trying to break the 50. That will be your go signal, right? If it breaks above the 50, that's a crossover, go long, and then use that 50 as your stop loss area. So you use ATR if you want to use that kind of indicator, but you gotta use that as a stop loss area. And then of course if it keeps dropping down, the 200 looks like it's going to be a logical place to buy into, but then also a better value at the trend line makes sense too. RSI was low, and it's pushing up, but it does go overbought quite often, right? So if that's our mental thinking, 23 points is a lot to move up. That's some good money right there. We could also see that the stochastic is low and it's curling north, so again we have plenty of room to run up, and the vortex just went red. So I think the bulls here, which are green, may get a little bit lower, and we gotta see the red get overbought. But if that happens, we're gonna lose the price action. So again, we kind of want to see the green come right back and push up. But overall, APLE, a great setup. And again, we're kind of in no man's land. You want to wait for a 50 crossover, or you want to wait for it to get back above, or sorry, you want to get a little bit lower, closer to that support or that trend line. But overall, APLE, it's a good buy. CKPT, Checkpoint Therapeutics. Again, it's a therapeutics company, so make sure you are watching what they're doing on the FDA approval list and what they're doing overall. Now, it's a little bit higher than I wish it was to pay for it, but overall, this is what I get. But overall, it's a beautiful uptrend. I think if you wanted to wait for a better value, you certainly could. Because you want to wait for a better value, you can get it around $3 and some change, possibly. But it's only 3 or 4% difference, which is fine. Thanks, bud. So if you want to wait for that, that's totally fine. It is definitely declining and making a small horizontal triangle here. Now, if it hits the POC and gets above it, good 6-7% can be made here. So again, more risky, but I really like that, at least watch listing it for the future. If you can get in this stock at the bottom of this trend line, you'll be very, very happy. I like it a lot. But make sure you have a stop loss, probably went around $3.10, just because you want to have, the last candle's broken. And so if these do drop below, 116 or possibly, 111, you may want to buy back in later, cut it, let it show some life and buy back in. But overall, if this does make a good push up, 10-15%, super easy. Let's check the indicators. So overall with the EMA lines, again, both are going to be resistances moving forward. As long as the 200 and the 50 are above it, they will be resistances. The main thing to take away on the short term, because this is the 180-day chart, so this is a longer time frame. What's important to take away is that short term, like the next 5 to 6 days, your price target must be based below that or near those. Because if you're going to put your price target above it, so if we were to look at 360, be like, oh, my price target's 360. But that's only possible when the ticker price is above both EMAs, and while we're below it, you must then lower it, because you can see it can't get above the 50, can't get above the 50, can't get above the 50. So if you want to put your price target, up here, you're being a bit foolish, at least in the short term. So again, I would definitely put mine probably near 335, 330, which is going to be a good, 5% away, which may not seem like that much, but again, if we can get a dip down back into this trend line or get a big crossover, we're going to have some good luck there. Right now, the RSI is fair, stochastic's high, and vortex just went green. So again, I think we may have a small pullback. I'm hoping for a small pullback, and again, you're probably like, why is he putting this on his watch list if he wants a pullback? Because you're not supposed to buy this today or tomorrow, right? We can't buy it today. But if you want to buy it on Monday and you see the big push up, that's fine. But hopefully for me, I see on Tuesday or Wednesday, it took a good 4 or 5% pullback. I can then buy in and be good to go for Thursday, Friday, and then next week. But say CKPT, I like it a lot. Next is DHR. It's a very nice setup, very similar to APLE, right? Which is not on accident hospitality, Diamond Rock Hospitality, Apple Hospitality. So again, a lot of these real estate stocks, a lot of these similar sectors will have similar setups, similar patterns. And again, that's not an accident. That's how sector rotation works and how all these things kind of work. So we can see a beautiful uptrend. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one. Really easy to see wedge. So again, you must take your price target and base it off of this wedge. You're not going to be like, whoa, last time it made 23%, and this time it made 87%. So I'm definitely going to come over here and be like, oh, la-di-da, let's make a good 23% move up here. No, it's going to have to hit this here resistance trend line, which will put us at about 15% most likely. And ascending wedges do break. Every pattern breaks. No pattern lasts forever. You can find me a stock that's had the same exact pattern for years. Holler at your boy, I got to see that real quick. Otherwise, 6 months, 8 months is usually the max. Like CAT right now is still uptrending. Ally's been uptrending. A bunch of horizontal channels, of course. But again, every pattern breaks. Do not fall in love with these. Easy to see support, easy to see resistance, easy to see everything. That's the point of these. Easy to see clarity for beginners. If this does break down below everything, get rid of it. You can buy back in probably around 996, or Billy Mays, 999. That'd be really good. But DHR, a beautiful setup. Let's check the indicators. Right now, just like the many of them, 50 EMA crossover. It's holding. If we can get one green candle, just one to hold. And when I say hold, it must be a 4-hour candle holding above it. Now I'll be around 11:30, 12:30, 1:30, depending on your time zone, that it will hold above it. If that happens, you can then go long. You can also zoom in on the 1-hour chart, 30-minute chart, 45-minute chart, whatever you want to use, but that will dictate a different set of EMA lines. And so again, make sure you have that figured out, but it must be holding on the 4-hour chart. If we can get above that, that's fantastic. If it does break down, find a better value, probably closer to 999. RSI is fair. It makes sense. It's uptrending. You're not going to have crazy high or crazy low RSI while it's uptrending. Doesn't make much sense. Stochastic is bodying on curling north, pop a like, and we can see the vortex just went green. So again, pop a like. Not a best deal you would have wished to bought in, a week ago, but DHR overall, fantastic setup. We just gotta see it continue, break that EMA line, and go forward. Okay, now that my cat is done using the restroom, next is KTRA. Some of you may remember KTRA. I actually called it right over here. I was like, hey, this is a pretty setup. And it went kerchoo, and I was like, called it. Not really. I actually got lucky. But I've been waiting for an entry point. I've been waiting for it to come back down. It did this again. I was like, oh, it's going to come back down to 120. It didn't. And I was bouncing back and forth. Now, this is definitely a head and shoulders. So, again, if this does break below like 166, 159, I would get out like Jordan Peele. But this is a nice setup nonetheless. Really strong support area. It showed some life. But let's be honest here. All right, you have a downtrend that's super obvious. They got to connect. You should connect your next two. Like you should be doing one of these. Like you should always connect the two biggest peaks. But I would definitely go with this one just to make sure. So make sure it gets above this, right? And this is making a horizontal triangle as we can see. So if this does not break above it, we're gonna have a problem. So if it can't break above this, make sure you have your price target based on these. If it does come up and hit, 4.5%, 5%, 194, 185 and start to die, I would get out or at least take half your profits and then buy back in. The support's very strong. I think you could get a better deal, obviously, but again, let's check out the EMA lines. If we can get in lower, that's fine, but again, it doesn't come down here very often. I think it does muddle above it, much more of a support resistance kind of play. But KTRA, I like it a lot. Let's check the indicators. So it's below both EMA lines, so again, short term, you must base your price target off of these. If you can break above it, then you're just going to have more fun because you would have thought, okay, I got 5-6%, I'm good. But then it breaks above both of them, push another 10 or 15%. Now you're happy. Now instead of being, oh, I got my 10%, that's what I wanted, cool. You wanted 5 or 6, and now I pushed to 15 or 20. You're having a real good Monday or Tuesday. So I'll put my price target somewhere from $1.91 to $2.05. Anywhere in here would be fine. And again, you're like, that's not a lot. Well, it's still 5, 10, 15% on a full move, closer to 5 or 6, maybe 9 or 10. RSI is fair, but it was very low and showing life. You got to give something up. If we're going to have this support hold, you got to give something up. It has to eventually go up. And you didn't catch the full move, it's okay. Right? We gave up 4 or 5% of profits for a sign of RSI drop to have some sign of life. I'll take that. So that's really good looking. Stochastic showing up, coming up, has room to run. I like that. We can break above both EMA lines, retest and take off. That's best. Stochastic again is low. Vortex is low. Again, bears were overbought, bulls were oversold, and now it's showing some life. So again, we can break above both EMA lines. I would like it a lot. We just gotta break above these and show some life. But again, overall, KTRA, I like it a lot. Next is LIVN. I've been watching this one because we have such a beautiful trend line. One of my favorites of the day, honestly. I've been watching this trend line for a while. And I called it once or twice before. I think I called it over here. And I was like, hey, it looks pretty good. And then it died and everyone was like, yo, son, why'd you lie to me? And it's like, I didn't mean to. But now we're over here again. And this looks really, really good. And again, the trend line looks great. The support looks great. And again, overall, the risk is super low, 2.5%, 3% at most. Can easily on a full move see 10, 15, 20%. Even your first resistance is already only 4% away. So again, you're plenty of room to run up. LIVN, super clear play. And again, it is downtrending. So again, you may want to draw your resistance trend line, which is again fairly clear. It was like this, and now it's showing some light. So again, that's definitely your resistance trend line, just like that. And these are wicks, so it can't hold above. It's probably I usually do this by the body. So this can hold above it. That's great. If this does break above it and hold, we're in a whole new ballpark, fellas. So again, I like this a lot. Earnings, it ran up to run back down. Makes a lot of sense. LIVN, gorgeous. This is such a good stock. I'm not going to talk about that much. Let's check out the indicators. You may be wondering, why is Evan mumbling? And again, it's early. I'm tired. New studio. I'm a bit nervous. But again, that's okay. Now, the 200's coming into play. It broke below the 50. So again, what are you going to do? Value or a crossover? And right now, we are waiting for value or either. So we're kind of in no man's land, right? If it does, you can consider, $72 to be a good value. So it does come down here and taps down here again. We're there. If it does cross back over, again, we're there. This is still a good value, though. So again, you want to wait for a crossover? Fantastic. You want to buy now? Also fantastic. RSI is low, but it's uptrending, so it makes sense. Stochastic was very low, and now it's curling north, daddy-like. And we can now see that the vortex wants to go green. So again, you would have been perfectly entered, back here. But again, you weren't near the trend line, so again, you gave up, the perfect entry on support to get closer to the trend line. That to me makes a lot of sense. And we can also see if you were bought in here, you'd be holding for the last almost 8 days with no profit. And again, opportunity cost dictates it could have been somewhere else doing better, especially like Friday. It was a huge run-up day for like L Pro, which we call around like 16% and stuff. You could have bought L Pro instead of this, right? So again, I go off of price action, not indicators. We waited, it worked out our advantage. So LIVN, I like it a lot. Let's just see what it's going to do here tomorrow. If it shows some life, I'm going to have to go in on that myself. Looking really good. Next is LULU, and again, this is a really nice consumer defensive stock, and it's also cyclical, because folks like it. Again, we called it over here. It's like, look at this uptrend, and I called it like here and it died, and I was like, you bastard. And then I hit the POC, it's like, look at this play, and then it died again, and I was like, you bastard. But again, this is a fantastic support area. Fantastic. Now again, connect your, this does look like it's kind of, you can draw some here and say, all right, that's it right there. You can see that it is downtrending like this, but again, these also match up. So what's this? A broadening wedge. Broadening wedges or any kind of pattern looks like this that has, the outside going not the same as the support. These are known to break, and we can see that this is definitely getting close to pushing above it. So I would definitely on your chart have your resistance trend line drawn, and again, right there is probably good. Right about that. And I'd have this drawn. Oh god. So I definitely have that drawn on here for sure. Oh god, I hit a button. I've confused the computer. No edits. So we can see that if it breaks above this, a whole new ball game is developing. But this is really a great support area. It is downtrending, but it's a broadening wedge. And again, what's the risk here? It's having earnings. If it does fall off, what's the risk? Oh god, we're gonna lose 1%. Gotta call my wife. We gotta move. We gotta get out of town. We gotta get out of Dodge. A whole percent. No, you'll take 1% of risk. That's okay. So really easy setup. I like it a lot. Let's check the indicators. So again, it is below the 200. That makes sense. It is below the 50. If you want to wait for a crossover, you can. But given the fact that's such a strong support area, that's all we have. There's no real trend line here. I would not mind going in right now. RSI is low, stock low. Bears are, they're close to being overbought as they usually do. Bulls are getting pushed down lower. So again, we may see a smaller push down. If we do get pushed down to like, 287 or so, that may be another good entry point if it continues to drop off. Because if tomorrow, if we wake up and this is still dropping red, why would you buy in? Right, you can go to like the 1 hour, 30-minute time chart. If this is still dropping off tomorrow, it keeps going red, even on smaller time frames, why would you buy in, right? You're just trying to catch a falling knife. Let it drop down, right? The more it drops down, the better deal you're going to get. I would wait. Long term, fantastic stock. Short term, if it shows some green, I also like it a lot. And there you have it. You would have probably seen MTOR was next, but I actually deleted that last night, but my computer reset and it was on there. That's not good right now. We gotta wait on that one. Overall, though, we have 7 great plays as usual, 6-7 plays, ready to go. I like all these a lot. These are fantastic, really good healthcare stocks, really good real estate stocks, really good utility stocks. All those sectors I talked about that we're focusing, looking really good. Now, you may be more into technology, maybe more into basic materials, maybe more into the consumer cyclical, the shit folks buy without needing it. So the Amazons, the NIOs, the PLTRs, those are fantastic. But again, I think we are overbought severely on SPY and on -ES and a lot of these. We may be getting a huge pullback. Once we have that huge pullback, if that does happen, that's where I would focus technology and those kinds of things. But for now, if you enjoy this kind of content, you sat through, a good 30 minutes of this, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. It does help. There's a Discord link available. And again, I don't want to push that too often, seeing it's Easter Sunday. I don't want to push that too much. It's a good holiday for everybody. With that being said, if you need anything, please let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the studio. I do appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.